Greetings, YouTube. Today we're talking about the crimes in the world that have been fabricated about how consenting people can engage themselves in sexual activity. There are 82 countries in the world where if you decide to consensually have sex with someone of the same biological sex, you can be fined or jailed or executed. Where for simply engaging in your own consensual desires, you can be breaking the law. Now in America, in 2003, our anti-sodomy laws were found unconstitutional, but 13 states still have them on the books, so technically they still exist. And that's a crying shame, because those laws should have been struck down. They weren't, because there are some rather conservative pockets of political activity in America, let's say. Let's be generous. But at least we're not jailing people for homosexuality any longer. We're no longer kicking people out of the military for being gay. We are no longer ruining the lives of people legally, at least through it. Though we still allow discrimination against gay people in many places, simply because they are who they are, they can be fired, or their ability to have housing can be restricted. So we discriminate against people in America for no apparent good reason. In America, we have embraced the idea that not everyone is considered equal under the law. And that is most egregiously seen in our discrimination against both the gay community and, of course, racial minorities. Both of these groups are targeted consistently and regularly by U.S. policy makers, politicians, and, of course, the social conservative movements, most often led by religious leaders. But even all this, having said all this, it's still better than in other places, where you can have your life taken from you, where you could be legally beaten and no one's going to say a word, where mobs can roam the street and hunt you and the government turns a blind eye. The proclivity amongst humans for othering people is profound. We have always seemed to need a demon in the night, and the gay community is a particularly good example of that, because you can't tell if someone's gay by looking at them. And so it's easy to say that it's a secret crime, or it's a good excuse for whatever negative experiences people have had in their lives, to say it's their fault. I mean, look how well it's been used politically in the past by othering a group, whether it was Jews or anyone else. The Muslims are popular in America. They're a very popular othering target in America. It's them. They're bad. They're evil. Which is a much less nuanced view than there are people in the world who are of a particular ethnic group or a religious belief that do things that are unjust. It's easier just to paint the entire group they belong to. It's faster. It's more convenient. It's easier to say all of those people are bad. It's political shorthand, if you will. And it does continue to foster the us versus them, the our team is better than their team. And while I, for example, often align myself with Democrats, I do so out of necessity, not desire. Simply because they oppose many of the things that I oppose, but not all of them, and not to the degree that I oppose them. So I think it's important for us to keep in perspective that in the world today, you could be sent to prison just for being who you are. And those countries are fostering discrimination and bigotry and prejudice. And they are causing real world human suffering for no apparent reason. for political shorthand, for religious power. And that's disgusting. And we should do everything we can every day of our lives to make sure that that kind of an attitude is eliminated. So every day, keep in mind that prejudice and discrimination are tools of those that do evil in the world. And that the first thing we can do to do good is not to help them,